Not a scientist. I'm not an expert in footballs. I'm not an expert in football measurements.
I don't want anyone rubbing them, putting any air in them, taking the air out. To me, those balls are perfect, and that's what I expect from a show.
I can't show it over football. It's so goddamn hard about holding on to it.
There can be only one. Welcome, fellow Highlanders, to the final show of the fantasy football season. Hopefully, you are giving and not getting Amari Cooper this past weekend. With fantasy temperatures at their highest, why not bring in the man with the spiciest takes on the interwebs? Our Canton compadre, and maybe the first person who ever actually listened to this show. Longtime great friend, Bo McBigtime. Bo, welcome.
I love you guys. Welcome.
Too.
Thanks for having me back. After the last appearance, I wasn't quite sure I'd be invited back.
What happened last time?
He was fighting with you.
It got heated.
It was heated. Hot takes were flying around everywhere.
Hey, that's what I like. It's my favorite. I love going back and forth with you. You need somebody to add a little bit of broth to your spice sometimes, bro.
If you want some regular old show that just has their same old, then don't invite me. But if you want your show to actually take it to the next level and have some controversy, without that controversial source being a dumb fuck like Skip Bayless or something, like if you want an informed, spicy take, then invite me on your show. That's what I bring, is intelligent chaos.
I will say, though, one of my favorite things to see every week, Bo, are your hot takes being put out there by Fantasy Pros and then them coming true. At least every week, one of the hot takes, Jake Browning passing for 350 or whatever it is, Austin Eckler going for 200 all-purpose yards. They come true.
Trey McBride, 2 touchdowns and 10 targets. Yeah. I mean, who's counting, really? It's
every week.
It's almost like crystal ball season. This last week was not a good week for that article, but I have a lot of stored credit in the cachet. I've had the crystal ball season. It's been fun.
Yeah. Well, we're writing you on the show for this week because it's championship season for us all. We are in the championship games. I know I am. Mike, how many fantasy championships have you made, by the way? Let's get the fantasy receipts out right away.
Okay. 8 redraft leagues this year. Okay. Cash Collins is in the championship in 5 of 8.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's why they call him Cash. Because he's cashed already. Yeah. That's money in the bank. If you made it this far, you are in the money in most leagues, unless it's a winner take all league, which I love. But at the same time, like, you kind of know that you're in the money already. But now it's about glory. It's about emptying the clip. And it's about, I mean, I want to win. I don't want to be second place. I don't want to be Cal Naughton Jr. here. Like, I'm not slingshotting somebody else to the lead. That's not going to happen.
Right.
Like, it's going to be me.
We have a Ricky Bobby Cal situation in the analytics league because it's stacked cash for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
I was the first half. I was the first half number 1 seed in that league, and the wheels came off completely.
As soon as you boasted in the DMs about how you were number 1, you did not stay number 1 after that.
But remember what I said is I'm number 1, but I have no business being here.
Yes, you did. You did.
I was like, I was 8th in points at that point, and I was like, I have the fewest points against. I've had the easiest road to get here. And I was like, I'm just waiting for all of this to come crumbling down. And that was the week it started happening where my healthy team wasn't healthy anymore. It was all downhill. I think I lost 5 in a row, missed the playoffs completely. It was ugly. So congratulations to you two holding it together.
Fantasy Millionaires.
Did you guys survive Christmas yesterday? I mean, I have to say,
barely.
I'm so ready for fantasy to be done. I've been ready for fantasy to be done. Like, I'm exhausted at this point. It's been really one of my best years playing fantasy football. I feel like as an analyst, I think I've taken a lot of steps forward. I love it. I love what we do. I am so beat. And to throw, the last log on this horrible fantasy fire is that all of this stuff is happening on Christmas and Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And I'm just like so done. Like, I'm just like,
and all of us have kids, and it's just like, it's so much.
Yeah.
It is so much.
I didn't watch one snap in the Eagles-Giants game because my dad doesn't have a TV that works with, the regular type of antennas anymore, whatever. It just doesn't have cable. And so I just didn't watch the second game. I was like, what is that? Oh, I'm just going to accept my fate and enjoy Christmas. And if you guys saw it, Matt Harmon tweeted out the other day that the NFL was fully attacking a full-on war on Christmas with Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That was a shit show, NFL, by the way. I love the NFL, but I love Christmas more than the NFL. Don't fuck with my Christmas again like that, NFL. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I and Scott already knows this. I had yesterday for my biggest money league, first prize is $1,200, right? I had a squeaker going, and I had a decent lead. And I had Flowers in my lineup, but I also had Zamir White. And I so I had like a nice lead where I was like, I could take these guaranteed Zamir White points and be done and just let the chips fall where they may, and just like enjoy my family. Hey, I win, I lose, whatever. Or I can keep riding this horrible fantasy tilt train all the way through Christmas.
Yes.
And
yes,
I made the right choice, because if I'd have took Zamir White, I would have lost by 0.6, and I stay with Flowers, and I end up winning by like 3 points. So, but I had to, I woke my entire family up last night at about 10:30 when I started screaming. Yeah, I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Everyone's gonna go through this with me now. Like,
Christmas. It's Christmas.
It's horrible.
My family knew. Like, my family has known for years that if football's on, it doesn't matter the event. It could be Christmas. It could be New Year. It could be somebody's birthday. It could be my birthday. If football's on, that is what I'm watching. That's it.
You're couch potato no matter what. Like, it's
no matter what, and it's been accepted. Beautiful. That is what happens. And football's on, red zone's on, and do I miss anything? No, not really. Like, I'm still there, but I'm still. Well, no, they're with me. They're watching in the same room or the same house, or they're. Like, we put the TV on in the background. Like, I don't have to listen to it. I just have to make sure that I'm aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to listen to Joe Buck any more than anybody else.
I do little moves when it's like family stuff where I just have my AirPods in and I'm on my phone watching or listening. So
yeah. I brought my laptop to Christmas Eve. And I put it over on the side of the table. There was a little stand where a cutlery and things where I just placed it there next to some books and just watched football while dinner was going on, kind of secretly. It was fun. No one even paid attention to me. It was nice. Thanks, Mike.
I mean,
your PC.
That's the move.
Perfect.
That's the move. You can look people in the eye, and you can just like sociopathically, pretend that you're front. Yeah, and then you're just secretly like,
I just don't make any illusions of it. Like, now it's been so many years where they'll ask me as soon as I get there, hey, what channel is the game on right now? And I'll tell them, and they'll turn it on for me. And that's it. Like, we can enjoy it as a family, even if I'm like in a completely different zone. Like, that's part of what comes with being in my family. It's like,
I need to be part of your family.
You got to accept what I got going on here.
See, I say that kind of shit. My wife does not accept what I've got going on. My dad doesn't accept. Her dad doesn't accept. Nobody.
I think they probably just threw up their hands at this point and just said, whatever, this is who he is.
I like that, Bo. I love it. Well, here's the thing. We do need to actually, besides reminiscing and bullshitting and glad handing and talking about how great we are. I'm in 3 of 5 championships, by the way. Want to also brag too, but actually 3 of 6, not 3 of 5, 3 of 6. I'm sorry. Last year was 3 of 5. I won 3 of 5 last year. If I win 3 of 6 this year, I'll be very excited as well. But we'll see. One of them is against Mike, and one of them is against Denny Carter in my local here analytics league. And that one, I'm trying to go for a 3-peat. And I am insufferable already. If I win in that league, fantasy Twitter, I'll be the most insufferable cuck you've ever met on fantasy Twitter. Because I'll have 3 championships in two of them against Denny. Back-to-back years beating Denny in the championship. So please, Lord, don't let that happen to me. Keep me humble.
0 RB truthers are crying like angels.
Yes.
It's for me, I'm not going to withhold how many leagues I'm in because that's way too many, but I'm in 5 championships. One of them happens to be my big money dynasty league that I won last year. And I'm back in the ship, and they hate me because we're also in a DFS Thursday through Monday league with the same group of guys, and I've won 13 showdown slates when it's winner take all. So I've taken all their money year round, and they're sick of me winning. And they were rooting against me because I was in a sweat this week in that league. It's a dynasty league. My team is loaded. That's why I keep coming back to the title. And because I had to cover 30 points between Christian McCaffrey and Roquan Smith last night, which for me, I wasn't worried about because it's Christian McCaffrey and Roquan Smith. We're talking about RB1 and linebacker 1 and 30 points total. I was fine. And I had it by the middle of the second quarter. But before that game started last night, the chat was getting a little heated, because they're like, well, what if Christian McCaffrey doesn't go ballistic? What if Roquan Smith doesn't make all the tackles like he usually does? What if this mighty titan of this league goes down this week? This could be it. And they were just ready for it. And I didn't respond to any of it. I read all of it. And in the 8 minutes left in the second quarter, McCaffrey scored that second touchdown. I had beaten it. I had the rest of the game to pile on. And all I did was I put a gift out that said, next.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so here's what we're going to jump into. We're going to have a kind of a truncated wire. Like right now, there's not a lot of players that are going to change your roster at this point. But you might need to pick a player up. You might have an injury here or there, or you might just want to snag a backup like Zamir White. And so I'll start with you, Bo. Any position you want. It can be QB through defense, whatever. What's a player that if you are playing this week, you're either trying to puppy guard, as the young kids would say in the day with the goals, or you're trying to kind of maybe scoop up because there might be a questionable player who like Cooper Kupp, he's going to go, but maybe Demarcus Robinson's the play, and so maybe you kind of want to have that backup in mind. Cases like that. Well, anybody you're thinking of?
I'm thinking about KJ Osborne with
I like that.
With TJ Hawkinson being out, that slot, the middle of the field for the Vikings is wide open now. And KJ Osborne had a great game. He had 20 fantasy points last week. That's good enough to win any league, especially if that's your first or second flex play. Like that's who I'm looking for, is because Jefferson and Addison get all the attention on the outside, and who's got the middle? Well, up until last week, it was TJ Hawkinson dominating the middle of the field for Minnesota. And as soon as he went out with that knee injury, KJ Osborne didn't just step up, he stepped up. And he was the dog for that offense. And he's a tough guy, slot guy. He needed to have some designed runs this season, which is kind of it's a good thing to see where they trust him to carry the ball. You can't always say that because they don't trust their own running back to carry the ball with Alexander Madison, who was healthy enough to come back, and they said, no, Ty Chandler's better. I knew that preseason. I've been stashing Ty Chandler on my bench all season long, waiting for him to get his chance to show what he is. But KJ Osborne's a guy that isn't special, but he's good where they need him to be. He's a lunch pail guy. He's the Robert Woods of this team, where he's not the best player, but he's the guy they trust to step up when he's needed.
Yeah, and he should get some of those slot targets too. Hawk's a bigger slot receiver, but KJ for sure. And the 20.5 points, it was 5 over expectation too. So you see in that role, he even kind of went above and beyond last week when he was called upon. And so now that he is expected to have a bigger role in the offense, I think it's a nice play there. Collins, how about you? Anybody that you're looking at this week? Maybe Zamir White.
I mean, Zamir White, again, it's all just Josh Jacobs dependent, you know. So
Right.
I mean, you know, CEH, same thing. I guess the back that's most interesting to me is Justice Hill, with getting, you know, the Keaton Mitchell role again, and you know, they're going to be playing Miami, so I expect it to be you know, the more typical Todd Monken type, you know, what we thought this offense was going to be all season long, and it's hit or miss different weeks, but this could be a good week for Justice Hill. You know, it's playing defense. It's just making it so your opponent can't use him against you. I don't know if I necessarily want to start him. I'll tell you who I probably do want to start. You know, potentially is 16% owned and almost was my elevate. Derek Carr versus Tampa Bay. You know, if you've been playing QB Russian roulette and you made it this far, I have a few teams like that where, you know, I punted QB or, you know, have dealt with an injury, and you know, I don't know that they'll win this game, but they're I don't know if this game's for the division. Buccaneers are 8-7, Saints are 7-8. They're all right there. You know, Falcons, Bucks, and Saints. But I think Derek Carr just will, you know, continue to, whether it's in garbage time or what. And this is just a very nice defensive matchup for the Saints. I think he will, you know, get you, you know, double TDs at least. So
Well, he's got 6 in 2 games and back-to-back 20-point performances. So, you know, after kind of sucking for several straight weeks, he's rebounded. Yeah, for me, I like those calls. For me, you know, it was tricky when you went to look and see who you can pick up right now, because most of the players, like you said, they're doing their thing. The CEH thing is intriguing for me. I'm going the wrong way. The only issue, there you go. The only issue I have is Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They look like they are flaming out before our very eyes. The whole offense is ablaze. I want to get your take on it, Bo, because I haven't talked to you about it. What do you think about kind of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce in this offense? Do you trust them leaning on the running game? Is that what they're going to have to do to be successful because they can't pass it, or is that just going to get stopped?
Well, without Isaiah Pacheco, they can't run the ball either.
Right.
I mean, we saw them turn to CEH last week when Pacheco was out with the concussion. That might be something that lingers into this week. And if you're relying on a guy who's 5'7", barely over 200 pounds, who's never been a good short yardage back, he's never been a speed guy, he's never been a blocker. That's why Jerick McKinnon was a league winner last year. McKinnon's out.
Right.
So we're talking about a guy who is one of the worst value first-round picks of all time. And it's just, I don't see it. I don't see them relying on a guy like that when, yeah, the rest of their wide receiving core is horrible. Like they have no wide receivers that are any good. None. Travis Kelce is getting double and triple teamed. So what is he going to do with all that coverage at 34 years old? And Patrick Mahomes has been under fire because they know they can cover man to man. Any defense can man up on this receiving core and send 5-6 rushers on every play and put Mahomes on the hot spot every single play. Double A gap pressure. Go man free and just let it rip with the blitz packages. And Mahomes is amazing for doing it even as well as he has. Like you watch him play and you're like, this is amazing. It's not working, but it's amazing. The Raiders just manned up and said, "Go get after it, Max Crosby. Get after it. Blitz everybody." They blitzed from every corner of the globe in that game, and they were getting home because that offensive line couldn't hang with it, and the wide receivers cannot get open. They had no separation. They dropped passes left and right. They've dropped 40 passes this year, most in the NFL. It's unbelievably bad. Mahomes is a one-man island right now. CEH is not the solution. This is a bad offense with how it's currently constructed. They need to retool in the offseason. So they need to win with defense. So that's the only reason I'm looking at this is, in any way, is that the Chiefs defense is a good play because they're holding this team in the playoff race.
Yeah.
It really is the only thing they have going for them.
Well, the touchdown upside has not been there. He has 3 this year, right? And then also when he did score 20 points 2 weeks ago, week 15, he had 64 receiving yards compared to 29, 42. So if you are rolling the dice, CEH is a pure gamble.
Of those came on one play.
One play, right? So he's a pure gamble. So I can only pick him up to kind of maybe or maybe not. Is he a hand grenade? Do you let other people pick him up? Maybe that's what you do. Just go. I'll leave CEH to you, my partner, who I'm going against, Collins.
I know there is a hand grenade angle, which should be part of Eviscerate this week.
The
I
poison
think,
pill.
Right.
I think CEH is not a hand grenade. Like I think that he's gonna if Pacheco's out, 100% scoop him. If he's on the wire, because they have to run the ball, and I mean, obviously CEH has not lived up to what he was drafted to be. Like, he's not. But the limited exposure we've had of him the last couple of weeks, I don't know. I thought he's looked good. Like, I think Pacheco's better, but I've actually, there was a couple plays in that last game where he got gangster with it. Like he was getting extra yards and looking like a real NFL running back. So because they're the Chiefs, if it's CEH, like they're gonna give the ball to CEH,
Right.
So whether he gets in the end zone or not, that's
yeah.
we'll
I mean, and the targets too, though, this is the last 2 games, you do see between the RB position, which you want to see this 21 targets. So if and that's about 7 per game, or 10 per game. So the last 2 games, 10 per game. So if he gets 10 targets next week in a back and forth matchup against the Bengals, who are susceptible to the running back a little bit, they've given up 1,800 total yards. I mean, you could do worse if you have nobody. If you're down a running back and you have to pick up a running back, But
I'll tell you what, I have in the analytics league, I have Pacheco and I have CEH on my bench, and if Pacheco's out, I'm starting CEH versus you.
So this is going to be real life against me. Okay, well, all right. I hope Bo's right.
I have two alternates here. The alternate for Carr that I'd rather play in fantasy because I don't trust Carr in fantasy to throw as far as I can throw him is Taylor Heineke against in his matchup. Taylor Heineke is a better upside play this week for championship week, and so is for running back Khalil Herbert. We saw Khalil Herbert get 24 carries for the Bears. I trust Khalil Herbert more than I trust CEH because at least Khalil Herbert knows how to run through between the tackles. He knows how to get dirty with it. And he's a beefy guy. He can play all 3 downs, where the Chiefs are never going to give CEH 3 downs. They're going to sign two guys off the practice squad if they're left with no options, and CEH is going to get left with the same old role because they don't trust him.
Yeah. The volume last week for Herbert, you knew that he was going to get some volume, but I mean, 20 carries, that was sexy. I like that a lot.
And 100 yards.
Yeah, 100 yard.
And I believe Detroit. Or did they play Detroit? No, I can't remember. Arizona. Arizona's not a good run defense. So that was a great matchup. They have another one this week.
Yeah.
Arizona is the worst run defense.
We should maybe play him in DFS when we build our Millie Maker lineup at the end, gentlemen. We'll have to keep that in mind as we roll through. So, I like those pickups. Okay. Anybody else you want to pick up on the waiver wire or cock block your friends by taking or anything like that? Or,
I'll just say, and they're going to be my elevate. I'll say, Houston versus Tennessee. If Stroud is back, that's even better. As of now, he's trending towards playing. That's the word on the street. He had a horrible concussion that it's still up in the air. I expect him to play this week. And Tennessee, man, last week in the show with Denny, I went Seattle versus Tennessee, and they were a good defense. Why? Tennessee cannot block for their quarterback. Like,
they cannot.
The pocket will collapse, and Houston is a much better defense than Seattle. Houston is got a great defense, so I think this is a really great matchup. And Houston's like on ESPN, 38% owned, so they're out there.
Nice, yeah, and it's right now it's a minus 3.5 at home for the Texans. It should be -7. So I like that.
That's a good actually bet. As soon as CJ Stroud signs up to play, the odds are going to shift big, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I like that. Okay. All right. Bo, anybody else? If not, I'm going to jump to Elevate, Mitigate, Eviscerate.
Let's move.
Let's jump. Okay. The ship has been jumped. All right. Mr. Mike Collins, you've just spoken. So I'm going to let Mr. Bo McBigtime lead off. Bo, any QB that you're looking to kind of bring up from the ranks this week to face a non-formidable defense?
Let's start with our guy Taylor Heineke. I just think that what he did for that offense was pretty good. Like we're talking about Arthur Smith got absolutely flambéed last week for good reason. He's probably the dumbest coach in the NFL right now. So we're gonna have a situation where he was kind of forced into play Taylor Heineke again. And wouldn't you know, 3 touchdown passes, 23 of 33, threw a nice little dime down into the cover 2 honey hole for Kyle Pitts for a touchdown. That's in the first quarter. They're taking shots in the first quarter.
Right.
And instead of having a 30% neutral pass rate, they were at 50-50. Taylor Heineke unlocks this offense in a way that Desmond Ridder simply doesn't. He cannot throw the ball. And Taylor Heineke, we know, not the best quarterback. I mean, if you look at him, he's mid at best, but he's sure as shit better than Desmond Ridder. And Arthur Smith at least can say, hey, we don't have to run it every play with Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson. We can open things up a bit more. And this offense is so talented that it's all it takes to go from a bottom 5 scoring offense to a middle of the pack offense just by switching quarterback to somebody who can throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field.
Collins and I got to see Taylor Heineke up close and personal here as a Washington football team then quarterback when he was named that.
Could have been the Washington football team at that.
Could have been not the Redskins. But he has the flair for like that backyard dramatic pass, that YOLO balls, whatever you want to call them. And if you have Drake London and then Kyle Pitts, 2 of the bigger man beasts you can get at their positions down there, kind of playing that. And no offense to Terry McLaurin, who was great at the YOLO balls. Those guys are a little bigger
basketball players.
Huge. So I do like that call. Collins, I'll tell you mine real quick, and let's say ours at the same time, because it might be the same time, right? So let's do 3, 2, 1, and we'll say ours, right? So 3, 2, 1. Matthew Stafford. I knew it. I knew it. You knew it? Yep. You knew it? I just did. I just felt the Matthew Stafford in my bones. I knew you were going to say it.
Oh, strong podcast partner. I love it.
Thank you. I just knew it. There was something about Mary or Matthew or whoever he is.
There's no contention here. I don't have any contrarian point to make against that because Stafford's an awesome play.
Yeah, dude. Here's why this is why my podcast partner, because we talk outside the show, but we don't reveal our picks. We like to do it. We like to do it live and get a real reaction out of it. So we keep it secret. And I love that you had the. I mean, I thought you were gonna say somebody else. Like I thought you were gonna be wrong. Yeah, I was gonna say Matthew Stafford because I am so high on the Rams right now. I think the Rams are the Bills of the NFC. I think they're the team nobody wants to play. I mean, I'm not the first person who said it. I heard an announcer say it. I've been saying that about the Bills. Okay. And then when somebody said that on television, I was like, that is a good comp. They are the NFC Bills. You do not want to play the Rams right now. They were a team that going into this year I had no interest in, and got completely faded. To my chagrin, I thankfully was able to get Puka off the waiver wire in my big money league, and here I am in the championship. And Matthew Stafford has dealt with injury throughout the season. Everything is good now. Kyron Williams is good. Cooper Kupp is good. Puka Nacua is good. The defense is decent. They are going to be a problem. And Matthew Stafford has all these weapons at his disposal. Tyler Higbee, good. Everybody's good.
Higbee's not good.
They play the Giants this week. Like,
Yes, they do.
That's a juicy quarterback matchup. Like, I think they're just going to eat. Like, it's another 3-4 touchdown game for Matthew Stafford.
Well, in the last 4 games, Matthew Stafford is QB3 in fantasy points. He has 10 to 0 touchdowns. That's really good. And he has 1,200 yards. So, yep. Ding, 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 ding. Giants, they suck. They're terrible against the pass. And, Danny DeVito, whoever he was, he's out. It's over. It was cute for a little while. But here
I
the
like
Giants.
it even more, though. I like it even
Giants,
more.
Yeah, it's just so
Tyrod Taylor keeps the Giants in this game long enough for Stafford to rack up more points.
I agree.
I agree too.
100%. I think Tyrod Taylor. They should have gone back a long time ago.
Yep.
Well, they had to keep DeVito in while they were winning. Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah, you couldn't take him out.
And he was terrible last week, and they were losing. So what do? You throw him on the bench where he belongs.
Yep. I saw people doing the. I'll see if I can find it. They were doing the scene from Casino where they took the brothers out in the field, and they were like the Giants at halftime to Tommy DeVito.
It's so fun watching. It's so fun watching like a player emerge. It's like, how our culture loves to build someone up to tear them down, right? Like that is Tommy DeVito in a nutshell, man.
Yeah.
Like all the memes lately of Joe Pesci going to
get whacked,
going to get his button, Oh, I love it. I love it.
So yeah. Okay. All right. Collins, I'll let you start off with your running back. Who are you elevating at running back this week? Who do you want to play in a matchup that maybe people are a little iffy on?
Okay. This was Denny's mitigate last week, and spot on. Like he got 9 points, but in a game where he only got 9 points, ended up, just looking phenomenal versus the Browns. I'm going Devin Singletary versus the Tennessee Titans. I just think that that guy continues to put that team on his back. And if, again, we have CJ Stroud in the mix, I think, Devin Singletary is, a really nice, low end, RB2. So, I don't expect him to, get you 30 points or anything like that. But I just feel like he's to me, he's safe, versus the Titans. He just, last week he had 9 points. I think he had like a 50-yard run called back by penalty. So he would have ended up getting you close to 15 points.
Yeah.
Versus the Browns, who are the toughest team to run against. Like Devin Singletary has just emerged as one of those guys this year.
4.9 yards per carry against the Browns. That's stout. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Bo doesn't like Devin Singletary. He never has. He never will.
He's not sexy. Not sexy, but if you have Bo wouldn't start him because he wouldn't have him. So
I would never have him. Period.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't start him against the Titans either. So
I'll give you another guy that Bo would not have or start this week, and that's James Conner. He would not have him, nor would he start him. I'm going to do both. I have him, and I'm going to start him, Collins. Well, I got Devin Singletary, so now I might have to think it over. But before you brought up Devin Singletary, I was going to start James Conner against you. We'll see what goes on now. But you got to love James Conner. In the last couple of weeks, my guy has been balling out. He did go through some injuries like he always does. But with Kyler back, the last 3 weeks, He's at 22, 17.9, and 22. Like he's getting the PPR work. He had 5 carries last time. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. All he does is give you fantasy points, and he's not a great football player, as Bo says, but who cares? He gets a fantasy point. So
here's the thing with Connor is I like him more than Singletary because he doesn't have competition in his backfield. He has none. Yeah, Singletary still has Damian Pierce, who had a kick return for a touchdown. Never seen a big rumbling, angry kick return like that. That was impressive too.
Oh yeah.
And Singletary is small, slow, can't catch, and can't block. He's just an extremely good system that when he's on the field, they look to him in these little dink and dunk type zone read. Like it's the 49ers offense just put into Houston. It puts people in space. Devin Singletary needs space. He's in a good situation, but he's still sharing the workload. James Conner shares with no one. No. Amari DiMercato isn't any threat to James Conner's workload. The one guy that I would play over both of those guys this week is Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford for the Browns scored a touchdown and even in a tough matchup. And he's got a nice little one coming up. The Browns are playing the Jets, I think, and the Jets can't stop the run.
Yep,
the Jets are all world run funnel defense.
Yes,
like you talked about funnels last week with Denny. Yep. Run funnel extraordinaire Jets defense. You cannot pass on them. Mm-hmm. Like that Browns Joe Flacco attack. If they try that against the Jets, they're going to throw 5 picks. Mm-hmm. They're going to run the rock, and Jerome Ford's awesome. He is a so much better player than Devin Singletary. The numbers don't bear it out, but on the field, when you watch the tape, Jerome Ford is an absolute monster on the field. And in a good matchup, I would rather play him.
Yeah, I actually like it a lot. I'm don't have any Jerome Ford at the moment, but I would elevate him. In this position. The Kareem Hunt situation is interesting too. What's the splits been with them, Bo? How's Kareem Hunt factored in?
I mean, if Bo wants to get into, he doesn't have to share the rock. I mean, that's the one thing I would say that sucks about, I have only one team in the finals with Jerome Ford, and I have better options, so I probably will end up sitting him. I don't disagree with anything Bo just said.
Kareem Hunt was averaging 2 yards a carry this year.
They're all in the red zone, though. Whenever they get down to the 2-yard line,
but he doesn't score either. He's in the Wildcat, and he gets crushed.
Yeah, he scored last game, right? Didn't he get a touchdown last game?
He did. He got stonewalled, and they put Ford in the next play, and he scored.
No, he got one. He gets
one.
Ford scored the first one.
Yeah.
But 7 carries for 11 yards.
Right, but that's where 7 carries come, is in the red zone.
Yeah,
that's where
he had 7 carries. All how many were red zone actually? Because it tells you how many here. His red zone rushes.
Dust.
Yeah, he just says
he's dust.
Yeah,
it's like saying, he shouldn't play James Conner because of Amari DiMercato getting a couple of red zone carries. It's not
the same.
It's not the same. But I'd rather play the better player who is doing a lot with his touches.
I don't disagree with you. I like Jerome Ford's matchup this week, so I like the elevate call 100%. I'm just saying, if we're getting into the the minutia, I don't think you have to worry as much about Damian Pierce, even though you should. As Kareem Hunt.
I agree. But I think that Damian Pierce is way better than Kareem Hunt. I think if you put Damian Pierce on the Browns, then you would have to worry about it.
He'd be awesome.
He should be the awesome one on that team.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
I don't necessarily disagree with what Bo said about Devin Singletary. I just think Devin Singletary will eat this week and he'll have a good week. And so that's why I'm elevating him. If I was the coach, Damian Pierce would be the running back I was using all the time.
Yeah. I'm going to start with my wide receiver elevate. And there's some qualifications here, right? And I talked about, I kind of hinted at it earlier. I really love what Demarcus Robinson has been doing lately. It's been strong to quite strong. So I'll go over here to
24 targets in the last 4 games, dude.
Yeah, he's just looked
touchdowns in all of them.
Yeah.
4 straight, right? 4 straight touchdowns. And
did you see my tweet? I bet the Chiefs miss him now.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Oh, that should have gone viral, mega viral. That's
Can you
hilarious.
imagine if the Chiefs had Demarcus Robinson still?
They
No,
need
I mean,
him so bad.
100%. That's what the Chiefs need. They need Marcus Robinson.
Right.
They just need a guy who can get open.
Yeah.
15, 13, 14, 20. And then the thing about it is, this is the Cooper Kupp issue. If Cooper Kupp is a full go and his ankle is not an issue the whole week in practice, then then maybe I'm a little iffy to start Robinson. But if Cooper Kupp, if you hear any words like limited or not feeling great or testing it out or game time to sit, any of those things, I think you roll with DeMarcus Robinson. So
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
that's a ballsy one. That's a ballsy one in the fantasy championship to put DeMarcus Robinson in.
It's all dependent on Cooper Kupp. Like I said, if Cooper Kupp goes, I'm not doing that. But if Cooper Kupp is not, who he says he is, then that could be a game changer because the Rams are playing. Let me see who they're playing. The Giants. Yeah, the fucking Giants. They're terrible. So it's a matchup I want.
Okay, I'm going with a much less
safer.
Much safer. But hey, listen, last week I said Bijan Robinson, and he's not somebody you would normally have to say elevate, but because of the week before, I said play Bijan, and you and Denny were giving me grief, and I was correct. Bijan 8.
We knew we were giving you grief because you had to play Bijan, not because
no, it was not because you had to play Bijan. Bijan was definitely a risky play last week going into the week. Like you didn't know it's Arthur Smith. You did not know.
I played him.
It was scary. It was scary to play Bijan last week, and that's why,
especially with your season on the line.
Yeah, I had the Stones come out and say it. That's the same player this week. It's the same guy. I can't believe I'm having to say this, but I am going to say, elevate. Do not mitigate Devontae Adams versus the Indianapolis Colts. Like that was a bad game. It was odd. It was there were defensive touchdowns. He had good corner on him. It wasn't his day. Meanwhile, he's Devontae Adams. Nothing has changed. It's a great matchup. It's Devontae Adams. Like he's at, I think, let's see, 978 yards. Like he's gonna get to 1,100 this week. Like it's gonna be a nice, juicy Devontae Adams week versus the Indianapolis Colts. So same type of thing as Bijan. Like it's crazy I have to say this. Put Devontae Adams in your lineup.
And when you get to the championship, you better be starting your studs.
Yeah, I agree. But who's a wide receiver that you're starting this week?
Oh, I know Mike's going to love this one because if you thought last week was kind of a fluky garbage time payoff, you're right. It was kind of a shitty game, but with CJ Stroud coming back, assumedly so, even if he's not back, I'm playing the hell out of Nico Collins this coming week against Tennessee because he fits the prototype for the type of receiver that absolutely annihilates the Titans secondary. Like they cannot body up. They have small corners that are speed guys, and they get manhandled against larger wide receivers. Guess what? Nico Collins is 6'4", 225. He's going to have himself a ball game, whether or not CJ Stroud is a starter. If it's Davis Mills or Case Keenum, who the hell cares? They're going to be throwing some 50-50 balls, which for Nico Collins in this game will be 80-20 balls.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I love the call. And you can just see, even without Stroud in the lineup last week, 4 of 6, got a touchdown. He's had touchdowns in
touchdown saved him. Yeah.
Touchdown
saved his game.
Yeah, 4 out of 6 with touchdowns, though. I mean, that's strong. And if Stroud comes back 11, 9, 12, the volume's going to be there too. So, no, I love that call.
All right, tight end, Simpson, you ready? We're going to go 3, 2, 1 on tight end. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, hold on. Let me, 3, 2, 1.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts, 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Yes.
And honestly, like maybe 5% of this is because Bo's on the show. Like,
maybe.
But it's real. Like you can't just watch. You can't watch the Falcons last week and what they did with Heineke You can't watch them going into a game against the Bears, who cannot cover tight ends to save their life.
Nope.
And
it's the only
we're
time
talking
all
about
year long that I've said to elevate Kyle Pitts. I do believe I have not once all year long said elevate, but on Bo's first show of the season, he gets a Kyle Pitts elevate. All three of us. So that's our guy, right? All three of us are all in on Kyle Pitts this weekend. I love it.
Yeah, I
well,
was
that
thinking,
and Jalen Johnson's going to draw Drake London for most of the outside coverage, so he gets the off corner when he's split out wide. That's another plus for him. Is everywhere he goes, unless he's drawing Jalen Johnson, it's going to be a win for him.
Yep,
sexiness.
Yeah. It is sexiness, and the Heineke switch Aru makes me just like, he'll throw the YOLO balls. He'll throw them, and who's the better YOLO ball guy than a huge man beast like Kyle Pitts? That's why he was what we thought. That's why we drafted him in the first round, so you could throw the ball to him in the end zone like that, just Tony Gonzalez style. So,
oh, you mean you should throw to the 6'6" guy who has a giant catch radius when you want to score touchdowns?
That's possibly. So, I do want to stay in the relative ball game of what Collins was talking about for our defensive starters. I'm starting the Raiders, by the way. You're starting Devontae Adams. Ooh. I'm starting the Raiders defense against the Colts. Minshew Mania ain't that hot. It ain't that hot,
Yeah, I don't think it's that hot either.
I'm not into it. I'm out. And I think the Raiders defense, they showed you what they could do last week. And man, they got guys who are pretending to give balls to little kids and shit. Like, that was my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Max Crosby's taking smelling salts in between plays, dude. Like,
not even phased. Not even phased by it. Doesn't even bother him.
Going nuts. Like, that is a defense you do not want to deal with.
Dude, Antonio
They're a bunch of crazies.
Yeah.
But I mean, to Jack Jones's defense, there was a guy trying to steal the ball from the kid in the front row, and that's why he pulled it back.
It is true.
The video showed it.
Yep.
The guy was reaching over, and he was like, "No, no, no, no!" And I'm sure they found that kid and gave him something.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, that was pretty funny.
I didn't know about any of that.
Oh, dude, it was
I thought that was just Raiders football.
Yeah, I did too. That's so funny. All right. Do we have anything else we want to start for defenses? Bo, did you want to add anybody?
Elevate the Cowboys defense. The Lions on the road are not the same team. Jared Goff is not a good road quarterback, even though this is an indoor game. The Cowboys at home have been a completely different defense and offense. They're licking their wounds after another close loss. I think they played better in Miami than people are giving credit for. To hold that team to 22 points is pretty impressive. They showed their worth there on the road, outdoors, against one of the best offenses in the league. This Lions offense is not the same team when they're outside of Ford Field. I think the Cowboys can force some turnovers in this game. They're going to get sacks. This is an elevate for me just because it's a home game against a team with bad road home splits.
I like that, Bo, honestly, because the Cowboys, they really are one of the, right now in the BFF scoring system, they're third. It goes Ravens, Dolphins, Cowboys, but the Cowboys were number one all season because they just have that turnover potential and then the ability to actually like get points off of that. So I do like, that's a ballsy call. It's an elevate for, it's a scary matchup on paper. So I like it. I already told you mine. Mine was Houston versus Tennessee. So I'll stay with that one.
Oh, yeah.
I do just want to, for the record, state that on my show sheet underneath the Raiders DST versus the Colts, I highlighted smelling salts, Mad Max Crosby. I added a title to Mad Max because you mentioned it. And I was like, yeah, you can't like that motherfucker. I watched Joe.
He's
Rogan.
A football player. That is a football player.
Right, it is.
Love to see that guy.
I watched hockey players, Joe Rogan type guys, big men, guys who think they're tough, guys who like talk a big game. I've seen them sniff the smelling salts and even the strong stuff. They don't go like this.
No,
they don't do that. They go, know, right? Their eyes roll back in their head. Max Crosby looked like that was like a walk in the park for him, dude. That scared the shit out of me. I got a little scared when I saw that after that video. I was like, oh, fucking Mad Max Crosby.
He also did that ghost drag on the cigar after the game. Remember that a couple weeks
where
ago?
he took a hit off of a real cigar like it was a blunt.
And he did a ghost hit where he blew it out and sucked it back in.
Yeah.
On a stogie.
Right.
Like, you know how deranged of a human you have to be to do that to a stogie?
Yes.
Right. He's a psycho.
I smoke cigars sometimes, and that was just another thing where I was like, these people are
that dude's different.
Wow, boys. All right. So now we're gonna to venture into mitigate. Mitigate's important too in our system here.
So important.
Yes, if you're bringing up the players, you're gonna have to put some players down. And this is the last time you're putting them down, so it can be a hard thing. I played this guy all year. He's got me here. This has been my guy, but the matchup might not be good. Jalen Waddle, whoever, not saying, but last week, before he got hurt, whatever. People might have a good matchup who might not, normally be elevated. So mitigate important. Council, you lead off. Who's a QB you're mitigating?
Again, man, I think we did this last week and we made some really good calls. And, these are the calls that are going to win you your fantasy championship, right? Like, this is the hardest thing to do. I went through on all of my guys, and I feel like what kind of was the determining factor for me with every single one of these guys is like, I'm just ready to play it safe and just look at what this year was. So leading off at QB, if you got here with this guy as your quarterback, God bless you, but it's been a rough year. I'm playing somebody who had it for, we're playing for $1,000 and then he has this guy as his quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to sit you versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I ain't riding that horse no more. I don't want to play.
This is the first time anybody's ever said to mitigate that man right there.
Right. It is what it is.
You have every right to do so.
We talked about it.
Historic call.
They do not have any wide receivers. I think Rashee Rice is good. I don't think he's garbage, but that's it. That's all they have. Travis Kelce is sailing off into the sunset with Taylor Swift after this season. He is beat up, broken, and battered. Maybe it works out to be a good game. All we're seeing right now out of Patrick Mahomes is someone who is just incredibly tired, that is scrambling for his life. Maybe he makes a play, maybe he doesn't. Maybe Travis Kelce has 2 touchdowns this game. It doesn't seem to be trending that way in any way, shape, or form. I ain't risking it. If you got an opportunity to play Matthew Stafford over Patrick Mahomes this week, play Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. Bo, who are you mitigating, my good sir?
And there's 2 guys that I'm mitigating, and they're both very well regarded. I'll mitigate Jared Goff first against the Cowboys.
I like that call.
Again, I've gotten there with Jared Goff in multiple leagues. He's been a great asset, especially in his home games, indoor games. This game is going to be rough on him. Those receivers on the outside, they've done a really good job. Ben Johnson's an outstanding offensive coordinator, but the Cowboys defense is built different. Like that. I mean, we saw DeMarcus Lawrence. They call him Tank for a reason. He's the number 1 graded run defender in the league at defensive end. He blows stuff up. And then you got Micah Parsons out there running a 4-3 from anywhere, any position. You have all these corners that are jumping routes. They're not going to have time to do double moves on this defense. That you can take advantage of their aggression, but they're not going to have time to do that. This is going to be, you're going to have to run the football to beat the Cowboys, or you're not going to beat them. And that's going to be a tall task for Jared Goff. I just don't see how he puts up big enough numbers. The other guy I was going to mitigate this week is Tua against the Ravens. We just saw what they did to Brock Purdy, who's putting up the best numbers of any quarterback in the league, and he looked like Iowa State Brock Purdy right off the bat. It was ugly from the beginning. They mixed up coverages. Tua doesn't process like we give him credit for. Yes, he is the most accurate quarterback when he knows where he's going with the ball. But if you take away that first read, if you take away where he wants to go with the ball, We're talking about a guy who gets rattled in an instant. Baltimore Ravens are great at rattling a quarterback.
Yes.
And they rattled the absolute shit out of Brock Purdy in the first quarter of that game last night. And it was over. It was over. It was curtains for the 49ers when their king, the guy that they rode into that game, hey, we're the number one, they're the number one. Baltimore shut them up in an instant. Like that 49er fan base that Scott and I love to inflame and enrage, they were so quiet. It was crickets in the first quarter of that game because their anointed one, the 7th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, looked so against that defense. So Tua, I'm sorry, but we're mitigating the hell out of you in this game. Baltimore, I think, is going to obliterate Miami.
I love it. I love it. That was my number 2 guy too.
Me too. Yeah. I have 2 guys there. He was my number 1, and he only has, and this is just wild with Tyreek Hill and Waddle there, and Mostert too. You could throw the ball to him. You could throw the ball to HN2. He only has 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games. Like that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous. He hasn't topped 20 points in since I don't know the Reagan administration, since week 11.
Week 1, right? There you go.
People are treating him like a fantasy star when he's not.
Yeah, I mean 30 points. Yeah, but he got 20 points in week 11. But still,
2 times all year.
Yeah. So it's not for me. I'm with you. The other guy, though, it's hard for me to mitigate at this point because he's been like QB1 recently, and that's Joe Flacco. But Flacco is up against the Jets defense, and they do pretty well against wide receivers. And so that's my only issue. I think they will pick Joe off. But Joe, man, I fucking love Joe Flacco. He won me.
He won
me some money. Won me some money this week. Thank you, Joe. I was all in on you, brother. Yeah, he was just all into Amari Cooper, and I stacked them together.
You
of course,
you get that guy throwing the ball 45 times a game, he's going to give you numbers.
Yeah, and so this game, I don't think it'll be a game like that. I think it'll be a game where they, like you said, Bo said, run the football. You know, I think the tight ends in play. I think Njoku's still a green light for this week because just the way that their offense works. But the Jets will try to shut down Amari Cooper. They'll frustrate him, and he'll get some catches. He'll probably go like 4 for 10. For 65. I don't think he gets a touchdown, but that's just not 52 points, 68 points, whatever, 69 points he got. So, I'm mitigating Flacco and Tua, unfortunately. So, okay. What about RB? Collins, I'll let you jump off at the RB. Who are you mitigating this week? This is a tricky one.
All right. Yeah, it's a tough one. So I have 2 RBs, and the reason why I'm mitigating them is they're on the same team, and it's not that hot of a take, but I'm just not. I don't want to trust if I don't have to, absolutely have to, either Najee Harris or Jalen Warren this week because I can't put my finger on which guy is going to be. You just don't know. Najee does seem to be a little bit more of the red zone back, but Jalen Warren seems to be a little bit like the better back. So you just don't know what's going to happen. If Kenny Pickett plays, it's a good matchup. It's a good matchup on paper. They're playing Seattle. They don't have a good run defense, but I just don't think that either one of those guys is trustworthy. So it's just a safe play. I'm making it RB. If I don't have to play either one, I'm not going to because you just don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, no, I like that call. Bo, what about you? Who are you mitigating this week at RB?
This is awkward, but I'm mitigating the 2 guys that Collins elevated.
Ooh.
I'm mitigating Devin Singletary and James Conner.
Oh my goodness, me and him both, not just Collins.
So
Fantasy Millionaires. You're
mitigating. It's really awkward because I think that they're okay. They've been really good for fantasy down the stretch. They paid off for a lot of people to get to this point, but they both have absolutely brutal matchups against run defenses. Singletary against the Titans, who are 9th best against the run. And they're a pass funnel where if you get anything out of Singletary, it's going to be little dump off passes where you're getting 6 catches for 18 yards, and you hope that he breaks a big one like he did last week. But for me, Connor is just going to be running into the back of his line like he does 20 times a game anyway. And the last couple of weeks, he's had really good matchups where he's broken some big runs. I don't think those come this week either against Philly, who's 3rd best against the run in the NFL. And up until the last couple of weeks where they were showing a little bit of weakness there, they were the number 1 run defense in the league for most of the season. James Conner will get 20 carries, averaging 2 yards a carry, and hopefully falling into the end zone is all you can hope for. So I'm mitigating both of those guys.
So let me just say, Bo, you're in a safe space. This is the Fantasy Millionaires space, and honestly, when I disagree with you vehemently, I'll let you know. I like that you're pushing back on the elevates. I think with both our guys, they're probably for both of us, they were our least favorite elevates. So you're in a safe space, bro.
Yes,
like
of course.
do your thing.
Well, here's why I went with the James Conner one. I know it would bother you, Bo. That's one of the first things I picked. So first of all, check that box. Secondly, the Eagles defense is good, like you said, but in the last 4 weeks, they've ranked 23rd. They've given up over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, and so they're cracking. They've had some injuries on the D line. They've had some issues. So I see the tide.
They played the 49ers. That doesn't help.
That doesn't help either. But I see the tide. They did play the Cowboys and did a pretty good job against Pollard, though. So, but I do see the tide turning a little bit. And the thing about Conner is I could see him getting so many scramble dump offs from Kyler Murray. Like it's a PPR thing. I could see him getting 10 targets and me getting 18 points out of Conner just because he gets 10 targets, gets 7 receptions for 48 yards, 25 yards rushing on 15 carries, gets touchdown, boom, I'm at 23 points. So something like that. I'm a little less, but I understand. I respect it. And when you're right and you can shove it in my face, that would be even better.
Oh,
so
I will.
I know you will.
All right. I'll make my defense versus Singletary. The only thing, listen, me and you are like-minded on Devin Singletary. I've not been a fan, but I think a difference between Cash and the man with the spiciest takes on the interwebs is I will adjust the ranks. I have continued to see this guy do his thing against what I think should be happening. Like, I don't see why he continues to make plays on offense, but he does. And he's been doing it now without CJ Stroud in the lineup. So him getting CJ Stroud back, I agree with you. It's pass funnel defense. Great. That to me gives him more red zone volume. And when they get down there at the 3-5 yard line, he's going to get his opportunities. So I'll roll with him.
Yeah. Well,
and there's our pushback. There's the Fantasy Millionaires pushback.
Well, you know what? I can't wait for Bo to because we all DM and text each other and talk shit all the time. So this will be another DM compadres chat.
Love it.
It'll be great. Who moving on to wide receiver? Who are you? I'm gonna start with Bo. Who are you mitigating at wide receiver, Bo?
So that's a guy who I really love. It's a guy I have a ton of on my rosters. He's paid off very hugely the last few weeks, but I am going to mitigate my friend and colleague T. Higgins this week against the Kansas City Chiefs, because without Jamar Chase, I don't think Chase is going to play with that shoulder injury, the AC sprain. I think with him on an island against Snead, I believe his name is, on the Chiefs, he gets that Devontae Adams treatment where Snead mans up and then they put a safety right over the top of him. T. Higgins isn't Devontae Adams. T. Higgins is great. I love him. He won me a lot of money this last week. But T. Higgins against L'Jarius Sneed, that's a rough go. That's really rough go. The Chiefs defense is for real. They're the only reason the Chiefs are even in the playoff hunt. T. Higgins is a mitigate for me, even though I hate to say it because I love him so much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a strong take because he had touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. But you're right. The matchups this week are much different than last week. Collins, are you sitting T. Higgins?
I actually am not, but I don't hate the take. Like, this is, again, not something where I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I get what he's saying. Here's the only reason why I would push back on it. Even though he's not Devontae Adams, he's I think he's better than Nico Collins. And so throw him the YOLO ball and see what he does, right? Like,
he does get YOLOs.
The guy's 6'4". I think he always has the opportunity to make a play on the ball. So if anything, I think he has a better chance versus this Chiefs defense than somebody like Devontae Adams. So,
Interesting.
because I just think they'll throw it to him. But I get the take. I have him in a championship league, and I am gonna roll with him. So
Interesting.
and
Okay,
I'm rolling with him, and I'm mitigating this guy who, again, hard call. I'm playing it safe. I do not want to play DJ Moore this week versus Atlanta. And it's like that's the same kind of guy, right? Big names.
I think I'm with you there too.
I agree with you.
It's scary, right? Like I think with his ankle being banged up, it's just I can't trust it going into my fantasy championship.
He didn't look right last week. He did not look right.
No. Yeah, I mean, he said he went back in the game and just toughed it out, but like
you could see it. You could
I mean, Tyreek had to take. He has a sprained ankle, and it's just it's not a great matchup.
He's a speed guy too. He needs to be able to get out, and like ankles matter. He's not like a plotter who can like tough through it. He's a swift gazelle, bro. He's got to fly.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I jumped the gun on my guy
too. I love DJ Moore.
I know.
Calvin Ridley. Listen, on paper he looks good.
He's so hot right now. He's so hot
right now. He's so freaking hot right now. 2 touchdowns. He looked really good at the end of the game last week. But here's the thing: if Trevor Lawrence does not play, that's a problem for Calvin Ridley, right? That's a big number one check. I'm not sure if that's going to happen after he got rearranged, his shoulder, his brain, everything for Trevor Lawrence.
It's not good. Didn't look good.
It's not good. Not good. Secondly, Carolina Panthers are actually pretty good against wide receivers, right? And they got some good corners. And so this is just somebody who, like, he's boom or bust, right? And you know that. 25 points, 8, 7, 9, 20, 31, 4, 14, 1, 20. This is what he does, right? I think this is a bust week, honestly, for Calvin Ridley. If Trevor Lawrence, though, gets a full week of practice in, no AC joint issue, and he's good to go, then maybe rethink it. But he's got a right shoulder AC problem. He throws the football with that shoulder. So just consider maybe, and his brain got rearranged. We'll look at that later. But he's a hard, if you have somebody else, then Calvin Ridley, I would try to lean on that. You got a Pickens, lean on Pickens, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's do tight ends. I'm again playing it safe. Hey, it's been such a bummer. But things done changed in Buffalo for Dalton Kincaid.
Oh, he's done.
And the Dawson Knox coming back.
That's my first one too.
Really? Dead. Is it? Yeah.
He's
I mean,
dead.
it's been a bummer. I have him on a championship team this week. And I have Dalton Schultz, thankfully, and I'm going to take my chances with Dalton Schultz in a tough matchup versus tight ends. Maybe slightly worse than Kincaid versus New England, but New England is good at defending the tight end position, and it's just too risky. It's too risky this week to get the glory to roll with Kincaid.
Yeah, Bo, you said the same. He's your guy too.
I was on that 2-3 weeks ago because now I was selling high in Dynasty when I knew Knox was coming back. Because if I'm making a championship run, I'm wanting to win now. And right now in redraft leagues, it's the same thing. I want to win now.
Yeah,
I can't afford to get another dud because some other guy's on the field, whether or not he's performing over the top of my guy. I can't afford for my guy to be sharing the workload where all these other guys on this list are not doing the same thing. They're the guy on their team. And even like Isaiah Likely has been paying off for me in his stead the last couple of weeks because I lost Mark Andrews, picked up Isaiah Likely just because I knew he could pick up most of the slack there.
Yeah.
But the guy I'm gonna, in response to having you guy not be the same, is Evan Ingram. Carolina's great at defending tight ends. It's the only thing they can defend. But Evan Ingram, especially if CJ Beathard's a starter again, you got to bet your britches I'm not going after Evan Ingram because he had a hard enough time finding the end zone the first half of the season with Trevor Lawrence healthy.
Right.
And now that Trevor Lawrence is not healthy, Evan Ingram we saw him last week. As soon as Lawrence was out of that game, he dropped everything. He dropped, I think, 5-6 drops in the second half of that game where his head was out of the game.
Yeah.
His head was out of it, and he wasn't focused. He couldn't play, and that's that same old Evan Ingram that is rearing its ugly head again. I don't want that to kill me in a championship round.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little bit iffy on my guy Laporta. He's a monster. But look at
can't bench Laporta.
Well, look, I want to show you something. I want to show you the pattern, right? 15, 29, 4, 28, 4. Up here he's got 8, 7. So I'm not saying you bench him, but I'm going to say that you don't expect a lot from him this week. I would not expect him to get you, the 15 to 18 range. I'm not going to.
That's the one guy I would start against Dallas.
I know. I'm starting him. I'm starting him against Collins. I'm not going to put Pat Fryermuth in there. Oh, by the way,
I think they put Gilmore on St. Brown, and they make Laporta beat him.
I think that's what they do too. By the way, Denny, you said it wasn't likely that you would bench Isaiah Likely, but last week he was like tight end 17 or something. So, Denny, you should have benched Isaiah. It was likely to bench Isaiah Likely.
Was he that low? He had some catches, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, here, look. I mean, I don't make shit up. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna look at what it was. We'll go game by game.
He almost got in the end zone on one of them. It was close.
Okay, so let's look.
It was too close. I was sad because I had a big game predicted for him.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. He was tight end 23. I gave Danny 6.
Yeah, okay.
3 for 56. Yeah.
My bad. You guys also tried to talk me out of Trey McBride, which I tried to tell you guys I was going to mitigate too, and you laughed at me.
I'll never.
I know, but it's DFS talking, and you guys have to respect the DFS guy over here, especially since I probably
so
would know.
Scroll up to tight end 8,
and
look how many points he scored.
I'm probably the best.
Tight end 8
player.
scored
14
points. Yeah, so. The difference is, did you pick the guy who scored a touchdown?
Right.
Basically.
Right. Chig scored a touchdown.
I love Chig.
Yeah, did not.
I had all the Chig.
Failed it. Yeah. Love me some Chig too. All right. So last one, mitigate, is the defense. Where are you starting? I'll start with you, Collins.
Miami versus Baltimore. I mean, we just saw, we talked about Tua. We're all in agreement there. And so you saw the Ravens last night, and it's just, even though Miami and our BFF scoring system number 2 defense, and they are a really good defense, but the Ravens is real, y'all. That is a squad, and I just don't have. Yeah, man, I just don't think there's anything anybody can do over there. And the only team that is going to give everybody problems is the Bills. And that's the only team that I expect to see them in the conference championship versus each other.
Bills, Ravens.
Yeah, if they don't have to get seeded against each other before that.
Yeah, I like it. That was mine on my paper. I wrote that down too. So
nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Any Eviscerate before you do any secret hand grenade? All right. I'll tell you who I want to release. We already talked about. I want to release Trevor Lawrence and hope somebody picks him up and plays him this week. That's
yes. That I will do that. That is beautiful.
Yeah. Or Taysom Hill, both of those guys. I hope somebody picks up either one of those guys and plays them when I release them this week.
That's hilarious. Bo, you have any Eviscerates or any hand grenades? They're pretty funny for Mike.
Call me crazy, but Dallas Goedert.
Ooh.
Everybody thinks the Cardinals are bad against tight ends, but really they're not. They're not at all. And Dallas Goedert, since Devontae Smith and AJ Brown got going.
Ooh, that's a sexy hand grenade he just pulled out. I like it.
Because they're not going to be able to resist it.
Oh, no way. No way. Yeah.
Never. I mean, he's coming off 14 points. It's pretty ballsy. I like it.
Yeah.
That's Stones
last week too. So
yeah, look at that.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Well, I like it. Okay, so let's jump over real quick. I do have another banner. I can go to the. I didn't even change it off the wire. Well, that's stupid. Okay, there we go. All right, I did already put the money.
When we win our $1 million, but we're going to come out there together and we're going to deliver it to you. Should we play a free contest, Simpson? Because this is just wasting money. We're just
so much fun.
Okay.
Well, you haven't had me on the show to help you win.
Okay, here we go. Let's do it.
I've been crushing GPPs. I just can't win cash games anymore because Scott fucked me up.
Let's do it. Let's throw
I take
another
you downtown.
$20 down the drain.
Hey. So I like to pay down at QB. What do you guys think of
Scott's
Stafford?
money anyway.
Yeah,
Stafford.
Yeah,
Stafford.
I'm for
Stafford
Stafford.
Puka. Stafford Puka.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, he's cheaper still.
Yeah,
than
Puka's great.
yeah.
Puka.
All right, Bo. What about RB? Where are you leaning? We talked about some really cheap plays that were going to be down here in the lower range.
DeAndre Swift.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Swift. Yep. He was my elevate, but I just didn't think he was mitigatable, so I didn't pick him. But I love DeAndre Swift's matchup this week.
Yeah. Anybody down here in the cheaper range?
Is Zamir going to be chalky?
I mean, if Josh Jacobs is out, he is.
We can put him in for now, but one chalky running back doesn't really matter. Let's see where Jacobs is at 62 and then 51. They're expecting Zamir White to play by putting him at 51 and him at 62. But we can change that. Let's look for a pivot real quick at running back if we do change it. Like, where's Ford at? How expensive is Ford?
Ford's down there. Maybe not. Not that.
Maybe he's not on. No, he's on Thursday night. That's why.
Build it with Jalen Warren, and then he could be our sub back in, right? Even though I don't want to play Jalen Warren, I said that this week. Like, build it, and then we'll keep Zamir White in, and we'll build our lineup that if we have to sub him in. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, build it with Jalen Warren, and then we'll take him out at the end.
Yeah, I put him in.
Yeah,
okay.
and then we'll switch it back out for Zamir White after we build it, and then he can be our pivot.
Okay, who's our tight end? Let's nail that down.
Tough call. Go. Let's see. Pay down. Oh, there's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
41.
Kyle Pitts. It's a Kyle Pitts. It's a Kyle Pitts dance party.
It should be.
Yeah. All right. Let's do DST because I always like to see Bengals against the Chief. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like
They're gonna
that.
get some sacks.
Okay. Now
they can rush the passer. They got some good dogs at corner.
We got 16.8 for 3. Not bad. Let's look at our wide receivers. Olave's sexy, by the way. The Tampa Bay Bucks can't cover a cold.
That's why I said Carr for the wire. I mean,
yeah,
I don't hate that.
Yeah, Bo, what do you think? Are you into Olave?
Yep.
Okay. Bo gets to pick the next wide receiver because you picked Puka. Okay. I picked Olave. So Bo's on this next guy.
Scroll down. I want a value banger.
I love it.
Pickens is 53.
No,
where's Nico?
That's another guy I might drop next week just to put into a hand grenade situation and watch him chase last week.
Jigba's 48.
So get this. I'm gonna go with. Oh man, it's gotta be. You're gonna hate this. Double stack Rashid Shaheed with Olave.
I don't think it's terrible. This is a milli maker.
It's a milli maker, man.
Yeah.
I love Shaheed at 46. That's a nuclear bomb of upside.
Okay, so now we start with Khalil Herbert and go down.
Yeah, Pickens there too.
Bo's going to drop Pickens, remember. What do we think about Hollywood?
No, he's not healthy.
No, he's not healthy. Okay. We could do Jerry Jeudy.
No. Judy's a GPP banger, but he hasn't done shit all year.
Yeah. No. You could just put Zamir White in there.
Oh no, he's Jalen Warren. We're taking out Jalen Warren. We're putting in Zamir White, right?
Yeah, but let's.
You know what I'm saying?
But let's look and see.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like now at RB, we could put in.
No, but then you have to put See, you're not like build the lineup, and then we'll go back and put Zamir White in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just at the flex. I was looking to see who else you wanted to have in there.
I mean, gross.
Tough call.
There's a lot of gross down here. I like Ninjigba if we're gonna go down to 4,800.
Yeah,
We can pay
that
up.
would be my call too.
We could pay up somewhere else if we wanted to pay up. We could,
I like Ninjigba. I like Ninjigba.
Yeah, we could leave 600 on the table, or let's take a look at defense. The Ravens. Well, against the Miami, that's probably not smart. Panthers against Jacksonville. I'd rather do that. If they're facing Beathard,
Oh, yeah.
it's still 500 though. Hold on, it's a lot of defense. We can afford
Texans
everybody.
versus Tennessee.
Texans. There you go. Okay, 200 on the
and
table.
now switch out Jalen Warren for Zamir White, and we'll pivot back, and we still have more. We see who's 5,700.
Well, it's Brian Robinson, but we're not doing that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Devin Singletary.
Yeah, both guy. Yeah, both guy.
You can switch Shaheed out now for somebody more expensive. That's a good placeholder, but I wanna see what it can get at the Woof.
Yeah, it's Wolf.
But
Deontay against Seattle.
Yeah, it could do Deontay
or Demarcus Robinson with Puka, but
okay.
I don't really know. I think
I mean that's
onslaught it.
Onslaught.
It's a double stack.
Double stack it.
Double stack. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll save it for now, and we can come back and mess with it later. So
I don't hate it.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Let's go to 3 tweets or a triple X X-rated. Collins, I'm going to start with you. Let me get to my notifications real quick. Let me pull them up.
Oh, this made me laugh so hard. Do the Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams with my fantasy season on the line. Make sure the volume's up. This is so funny. It makes you laugh the more you watch it too.
This is Patrick Mahomes, and it's I don't know who this guy is. Then Jake Paul hits him, right?
Watch him duck the ball too. That just made me laugh so hard.
That's awesome. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, I like that. I have one. If I can get out of here, hold on. My computer doesn't want me to get out of here. I'll figure it out. Come on, big money.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, this is my guy. Yeah. Hold on.
Going to the Super Bowl and the 49ers suck dick, yo. Oh my God, I thought they were supposed to be the best team in the league. And I thought Kyle Shanahan was a genius. How the fuck you gonna be a genius when you look like you still shop at PacSun, yo? Grown man probably wearing soap on his days off and shit, yo. Oh, I thought Brock Purdy was gonna be the MVP. Yeah, fucking miniature, very small penis, maybe. Brock Purdy, more like Brock Purdy. That boy is dog shit, yo. Shit, I think I picked his ass off just sitting on my couch yesterday. He picked so many interceptions, yo. Christian McCaffrey, more like Christian McAss cheeks, yo. How the fuck you gonna be a white running back that's good? That's fucking cheating. That's like going to the fucking the Kentucky Derby with a unicorn, yo. That's a fucking mythological creature as a fast white running back, yo. And we still fucking won, even though you was cheating with a white running back and you was cheating with that ref, yo. You know, that ref's very lucky. He's lucky the Ravens ain't lose by 2 points or else something. A little mistake might have happened to him. Woo, we fucking fool, yo. We're winning the Super Bowl. Lamar's getting MVP, even under Joe Flacco. That's the only thing standing in our way, but we're going to win, yo. We're going to win the Super Bowl. I can feel it. It's a Christmas miracle. Sorry this video was late. I was arrested because I had dressed up like a Santa Claus and tried to take presents from a children's hospital because I needed to get presents for my son, Cal Ripken Jr. But I'm out. I'm free. And the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. Let's fucking go.
Cal Ripken Jr.
I didn't watch it because I wanted to watch it live. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you definitely won. You definitely won.
Cal Ripken Jr., baby.
That's hilarious.
He's so funny. He's so funny. Yeah. So okay. Well, I didn't have a real banger coming off of this, so I'm okay to have you share yours because this is really funny. I saw this. This is Nick, DeAndre Swift. Hold on. This is yours. I'll let you set it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Kevin Tompkins. DeAndre Swift negotiating getting a goal line carry touch with Jalen Hurts.
I was thinking though, one time it would be really awesome if like you could slingshot me in for a win.
Yeah, but okay, but if you won, how am I gonna win?
Yeah.
Think about it.
No, I was thinking about it.
I mean, it's not like you're finishing 18th.
Nothing wrong with silver.
Nothing wrong with something.
I'm just kidding, man. I don't want to win. I'm buried down inside.
We're deep down in there and never bring it up again.
It's painful, and I love you.
It's painful, and I love you. This is so funny. I love Kevin Tompkins. By the way, he is an amazing person. So
I got a Kevin Tompkins story real quick because he beat me in week 15 to take away my first round bye in a redraft royalty league, and so I was a 3 seed. I had to win an extra playoff game, which I did, and I got a rematch against him this week in the semifinals and whooped his ass. Got my revenge.
Nice. Oh, nice. All right,
So
I
it
have
felt
to show
good.
the tweet that I have to show is just the last one. And you guys saw this. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, right? This is a joke, but I wrote, Trevor Lawrence, who's legally declared dead by the Duval County coroner after this hit on Sunday, is expected to start next week for the Jags with 0 restrictions. Look at his face.
Yeah,
I know.
Like that.
Looks like Tony Ferguson's. You know that Tony Ferguson picture where he's getting picked up, right? And he looks like he's like 100 years old.
Yes, it's exactly.
Yeah.
And his mouth's going this way. His nose is going this way. His eyes are going this way. I showed my wife that picture, and she said, you can see the concussion in his eyes. And so poor Trevor Lawrence. That was not me making fun of him, by the way. That is me mocking the NFL and how they treat these guys after they go through something like this, right? He's not out because of a concussion right now. He's out because of an AC joint, right? If he had a good shoulder, he'd be playing. So,
Rub some dirt on it. Rub some dirt on it. Get back in there.
Have you seen, Bo, Old Dads on Netflix yet?
No.
Oh, dude, watch it tonight. You'll love Aspen. You'll connect with him. So I'll leave it at that. Collins, we do want to also real quick shout out Bo McBrayer, Bo_McBigtime. If you do not follow him, let me get to my homepage real quick. Where am I at here? I am a member of Chalk Block. We did meet a bunch this year before the Christmas time took us away from each other. But he is Bo_McBigtime on Twitter. He's moving in on 9,000 and then to 10. So please do follow him. He's amazing. He is the hottest taker on the interneter. Bo, anything else you want to shout out? Maybe your Hotbox brand batch. Mike's wearing the hat right now.
Yes, that's the very sexy hat, Mike. BigTimeFlavor.co. And get your orders in. We've been making your mother-in-law's cooking tolerable since 2020. It's always good. Scott can attest. It lasts pretty much forever. Even though you probably eat it fast enough where you don't have to worry about expiration date.
Nope. It's gonna last forever though. I've got a bunch of bottles. Collins, I'll bring you one when we hang out for fantasy.
Oh, yeah, good.
For real playoffs. So, but all these are really good. And get the bundle 45. You save yourself $5 on everything. So I think that's the best deal to make. Thank you for everybody who watched today. We appreciate you all. And everybody who stuck with us all fantasy season. We love being able to talk fantasy football, and we love being able to just be there and be a part of your fantasy experience. Mark said sad time, it being the last show for the year. Thanks for doing what you guys do. Hopefully we get a couple more chalk blocks. We should be good for chalk block. We'll talk to Bo about this week, but there's no holiday stuff on the fucking weekends finally. So this is a real week. This is NFL week. So I'll talk to Bo, but yeah, hopefully we get some chalk block this week for sure.
And the Fantasy Millionaires will be back. We might do a recap show. It's just this is the last real fantasy show, so we don't know exactly when that'll be. And then we have some fun ideas for off-season content. So we'll be in the milieu here and there until fantasy season kicks off next year. So but yeah.
Thank you, everybody, and let us know when you win this week. Like, reach out on Twitter. Like when Bo wins a championship, he'll be telling us in the DMs. Mike and I'll be facing each other. Shout out Denny Carter. He was on last week, and I'm playing him this week in a championship. All my best friends, right here in real life and in fantasy, which is pretty cool to be able to face those people. I'm not repeating as a champ in Bo's league. So, Bo, tip of the cap to the people in your league. I was bested this year.
Tough league, man. Tough league.
I'll be back next year. Fucking tough league. Got 9 wide receivers. You have to start them. If you don't, you get arrested. So, but I do appreciate everybody. Collins, I'm gonna let you take us out because you always do.
War, pain, heartache, destruction, chaos, devastation, and all the bad things to all your opponents in Championship Week 17. Peace and love everywhere else.
Yeah, peace and love. Also, I forgot to say I won Chalk Block Tournament again. That's 2 out of 3. Peace, guys. I'll win it again next week if I need.